At its core, Minecraft is a game about building and creativity, and there are so many different styles. There's modern, medieval, cottagecore, fantasy, and everything in between. Additionally, Minecraft is about art, and that's what I want to focus today's video on. Hello everyone, it is your human Thork, and welcome back to another video. Today we are in a super flat creative world because I want to ask the question, is it possible to build a build with only one color? And at the same time, make it cute, pretty, aesthetic, cozy, and nice to look at. This world also happens to be my creative testing zone where I test out different ideas and theories and all that kind of stuff. But you're not here for that. You're here for color. And today, we're focusing on red. And, you know, depending on how good this video turns out, I could turn this into a series and do all of the colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the works, and figure out how to make a build work for each of those. However, I'm getting ahead of myself. We should probably look at the block palette for this video. I have some stuff laid out for other colors just in case I want to do that, but for red, this is what we're working with, and it's not much. The way that I determined what I wanted to use for this challenge was I just went into the creative menu, typed in red, and this is what we have to work with. Because you may be looking at this and saying, well, this isn't red, is it? And you're correct, and that is not the challenge. The challenge is simply whatever comes up when I type in red, that means anything that includes RED next to each other also counts. It also does not include anything that may look red, like netherite or any of the crimson woods or anything like that, because it doesn't have the word red in it. That would be an entirely different challenge in and of itself. However, I think that this gives us plenty of stuff to work with and be confused about. I was also debating on doing an easy mode and a hard mode of this, where I only use the standalone red word. Like redstone would not count because it's not standalone. Red tulips, on the other hand, would, because there is space and there is red. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys want to see that, I may make a separate video on that. However, I think this is going to give us plenty to work with. I think I should be able to come up with something, but who knows? This may be easy or it may prove to be exceptionally difficult. Either way, I'm here for it. I'm also not going to build this in a super flat world. I'm going to hop into a normal world, try to find a Badlands biome, since I think that would, mesh pretty well, and it would make sense with the environment, and see what we can do. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, so here we are in our building world, and let me just say before I start this, what a legendary start. Look at all of this. Minecraft, you really need to stop giving me just amazing, incredible seeds that I want to build like kingdoms in when I just want to do a silly little video, all right? Like, what am I going to do with this? And by the way, it gets better. Look at this. What? Huh? That's just like the perfect little area, and yeah, there's that too. Like, if you're telling me that this doesn't give you like all of the building ideas, I think this is the first time I've seen a pillager hut spawn above the clouds, or essentially above the clouds, like really close. So much flat area for mega builds or just cities that you want to build. Like, if you were starting an SMP, like, seriously, this is the sea to do it on. You have this main island with tons of area around it to build, super flat, super buildable, and look at this, you guys. This just screams build something on me. Oh, but you thought it ended there. No. Right on the other side of this, you just have more incredible building spots. Like, it just does not end. There's... my God, it's so good. Yeah, okay, let's just skip to the building. This went on for an additional 10 minutes. I can't stop myself when I want to explore. I just love it so much. I might turn exploration into a series, who knows? Anyways, back to building with red. Finding a flat area to build here is going to be interesting, isn't it? I'm going to do most of it in a time lapse, of course. I don't want to bore you guys with me figuring all this stuff out and restarting and all that kind of stuff. So let's see if I can make something pretty cozy, aesthetic, and all of the above with just blocks that contain red. I don't know what I've gotten myself into, but here we go. Future Thork, you know what to do. Yes, I absolutely do. This build, without sharing or showing or talking about any spoilers of what happens in the rest of this time lapse, I think I can confidently say that I nailed it. This build somehow turned out with a limited block palette and no prior testing of how to make this happen. I think we made it happen, and I will let you guys decide if I lived up to the expectations of the video and thumbnail and all that kind of stuff, which I don't even know what they are, by the way, yet. But regardless, I think we did it, and I think you guys will be very, very, very pleased with what we were able to accomplish. I went with a simple structure and a simple shape because I didn't know what else I would be adding on top of it. This was a very make it up as I go kind of video, kind of build in general. You can see me right now playing around with different wall structures and textures and all that kind of stuff, and you know, I think this is pretty good for texturing when I only had like a couple blocks to do anything with. And now this part is probably one of my favorite parts of the entire build. You can't really see it, but right now I'm placing down shulker boxes. That's the brown trim on the inner corners of this, on the inner line, and then staircases on the outer line. Shulker boxes have an interesting texture up close on their bottom, and you don't really ever get to see the bottom of a shulker box, but like, it's really interesting when you look at it, and I'm really proud of how that turned out. Speaking of things that I'm really proud of how they turned out, this floor in the basement, or floor number 1, using mushroom blocks to delete other mushroom blocks surfaces is a really good technique, and I think more people should use it, because if you are limited and don't have that much stems to work with, because I had 0 stem blocks to work with, that's how you can create it. When you pair up mushroom blocks with any other object or block that has physics, and then delete that block that has physics, you get that kind of shaved off surface. And I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do when you have a limited block palette. And speaking of limited block palettes, you know, this may be the video where I challenge myself to only use blocks that contain red, but this is not the video, unfortunately, where I challenge myself to improve at interiors. Looking at the block palette and looking at how I wanted to decorate the interior, I just decided to skip it for the most part. I just made it a little pretty and then moved on to the outside, like the main show, because there was so much more to do, and I just wanted to get that out of the way. Speaking of getting it out of the way, the balcony is on now, and it just kind of showed up, and that's because I forgot to unpause the time lapse when I was recording the time lapse. I wish I would have recorded that process, but it was a really simple addition, so hopefully it doesn't, you know, mess up the video flow too much. But I'm really proud of it, and I would love to expand on that kind of balcony design in other things. Now this is something that I didn't think about while making the build, but these redstone bits add so much detail. I don't have anything that's white. The only thing that I have that's white are the beds. This is the only way that I can add kind of like a whitish gray texture to a mushroom block, because, you know, white and red, that's kind of the mushroom aesthetic. But this is a good way to do that. Kind of like speckling little bits of redstone mechanics together with mushrooms. Doesn't sound like it would work, but it really does in terms of color palette. And it adds a little bit of a subtle aesthetic little glow, a little bit of ambiance to the build at night, which is very much needed in my opinion since we have such a limited block palette. It just makes a huge difference. And, you know, speaking of a huge difference, you can make one by subscribing. Anyways, dumb YouTuber stuff out of the way. Pathways make a big difference. That's what I was gonna say before I got distracted. I don't have pathway blocks. I don't have any pathway blocks, and so making something look like it is a pathway without it, I find kind of difficult sometimes. But once you realize what a pathway is just like a way to get from point A to point B, you can kind of start to experiment and mess around with things, pull things from other parts of the build, and just kind of throw it together in a big salad of walkway. You know, it might not make the most sense, but trust me, anything can be a walkway. Anything can be a walkway, and anything can be a mushroom, I guess is the lesson to learn from this build. Because this is a custom mushroom. I didn't want to grow a mushroom with bone meal, because obviously bone meal does not have red in it. And so I didn't want to use bone meal or grow a mushroom, so I had to make my own custom mushroom tree looking thing, and it's the first time I've ever done so in this fashion. I've made a mushroom house in that creative world that I showed you at the beginning, but never a standalone mushroom. And by the way, this one glows, which is super cute and super pretty. And now this part might be my second favorite, if not my first favorite. I don't know. There are so many favorites I have in this build, but this little mushroom light that I'm putting on the edge of this build is so aesthetically pleasing. Look at this thing and tell me you don't want these everywhere. It just works. It just works so much, and I'm very proud of it. Let me know what you guys think of these little mushroom lights, and if you want to put these in your world, go for it. Yeah, I'm so happy with this. I will keep talking about it for way too long if I don't stop myself now, so just let's go back to past Thor to finish up some details. Alright, you know what? I think that's the build, and I think I nailed this. Like, just look at this thing. I really leaned in heavy to the mushroom theme. So, let's take a tour. Starting off strong, I think I am in love with these lights. It was a last minute addition, but I think it just makes the entire thing so much better. I kind of thought that this mushroom on top of the house was a little out of place without things surrounding it, and you know what? I think they fit just fine into the environment. I love these parts of the build where they're just kind of cozy, you know, for no reason. Either way, that was the other part of this build challenge, was to make it cute and cozy and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, I think I definitely did that too. It was both very difficult to do, but also surprisingly easy and intuitive. I didn't think it would be, but here we are. So let's take a trip inside, starting off with this area. I think this works so incredibly well using these, what are they called? Redstone lamps? It is just so textured and tiled, and it works especially well as a floor when you are, limited. And speaking of limited, I got creative because, as you can tell, there's no wood at all in this build, except for a bed. And that's where this comes in. I was really stumped on what to do with a bed for the longest time, but I realized that beds don't necessarily have to obey physics either. I'm just so used to putting beds on a ground that I didn't even think about this, but it very much works. Alright, now, of course, we don't have doors, so this is my solution for a door. It's kind of good. I mean, it's not that safe, and any mobs can walk in here, and they did. However, it works. It separates the two pretty well, and I don't think I could do much more with that. And this, I am very proud of this floor. It works super well as a little accent block, a little detail block, and yeah, I'm glad I thought of this because I don't know what I would do for a floor otherwise. Also, the weathered trim coming in here, adding a little bit of variety into the build. And, this is a bit dark, isn't it? Well, wait a second, I have an idea. Maybe we can do one more detail in this build? Something like that? Yeah, that kind of works. This is a super cool image. It's just so weird, but it's also super cozy. Like if I built this in survival, which I don't think I could ever do, by the way. I have never gone to the end dimension once, and all of these are shulker boxes. This would be very expensive to get in survival. Not to mention the glazed terracotta and the lamps and all the red brick. I think red netherite bricks are more expensive to get. I'm not sure how you craft them, actually. I don't know how you would craft them in real survival Minecraft, but this is not that, so I don't have to worry about it. And now let's look at the roof of this thing. I am very proud of this as well. And by the way, I totally forgot to kind of do this, so I'm going to do this while I'm talking. However, I think all of this really works out. The amount of detail on this roof is absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea what this detail is, the repeaters and the banners kind of with torches. It just kind of looks cool, and sometimes that's all you really need in a build. You don't really need functionality if you're just building something pretty. You can just build stuff. It kind of acts like a faux window, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not functional in any way, but it adds some detail and depth, and I think that's very much needed in a limited build block palette like this. And sticking with a mushroom theme, we got this little glowing mushroom at the top of the build, kind of dangling off with some frilly bits. I don't know what they are. They just look cool. I would definitely add different colors of banners, maybe add some white in there, but you know, we could not do that in this build. And also, a quick little note, there are a lot of different things that you can do with banners, including divide them up. So that is also a detail that I really, really love. You know what? I think that is the video. This was really, really, really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. Let me know if you guys want more of this kind of stuff, because there are so many more colors that I could do. I think this could be a series or a playlist of videos. Who knows? I do not do creative Minecraft that often, and you know what? I think I want to start doing a little bit more of it. If you have any ideas of how I could improve this build, please let me know. I am down. I'm probably not going to change this design, but just for future reference, building tips are always appreciated. Share this video with a friend, any friend who likes creativity, art, building, design, all that kind of stuff. I am sure they would love it. And if you liked and or loved this video, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out a small channel like mine, and it helps you guys stay up to date with what I got going on. We got a 1.20 Minecraft vanilla Let's Play series going on. I do some chill, laid back, minimal editing, kind of Minecraft therapy style videos that you might love. You might, I don't know. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys again for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Keep being awesome, keep being you, and yeah, we will see you in the next one. See you guys.